Pittsburgh Steelers fans, what's going on? Welcome back to Blitzburg Squad. I'm Wesley Seeley, joined with Shane Smith. Steelers got smashed, absolutely demolished to the Eagles, 35-13. Yeah. Kind of what we were expecting, and we weren't really expecting any more with this one.
Right. Yeah. I mean, talking about it in our preview, we kind of gave tons of points as to why the Steelers couldn't lose and why we didn't believe they were going to, or why they could lose and why they weren't going to win. And I mean, it all held true.
Right.
I mean, you could summarize the game of all facets we got beat.
Yep.
There's not one facet that we did any better than them at.
Nope. And I know a lot of people were kind of holding on a very, very slim hope of maybe the Steelers will get the underdog victory. Maybe they'll get that.
Yeah.
No, this was a lot of the same of what we had already seen this season, and
did not stand a chance.
Did not stand a chance. No, they did not at all.
No. Do we want to start with our offense?
Oh yeah, per usual. Let's dive right into the offense, man. So, what'd you think of the offense for this game? What'd you see? What'd you see that you liked? What'd you see that you didn't like?
Our offense looked okay in the first quarter. We went down. We did score a touchdown. We were a little unique. We kind of did what looked like a typical end around. Then all of a sudden, Chase just dumped it off to Derek for a touchdown.
Derek Watt scored a touchdown.
I know. Can you believe it? It was one of those where it was like, it was nice to see. It was a nice change to see. It was like, okay, maybe there was some stuff that Matt Canada was holding back on us. And when he made those comments of, this is really close to breaking out, that you're like, maybe this is what we were looking for.
Right.
And then it just went back to the same complacency. And it was one of those where it was just, I don't know, it was just poor after that. I mean, that was our, I don't care about the other two field goals. It was
Skiba. You didn't like Skiba's field goal?
It was poor. I mean, it was just a lot of the same crap over and over again. Not a lot in the middle, more outside, and not a lot of deep thing. Like, it was just high school offense.
Yeah, kind of what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And we talked about, too, in our preview, like how challenging this was going to be for not only our offense, but for Pickett. Going against a stout line. I mean, you saw the pressure was getting there a ton. He was getting smashed.
I do not know how he made it out of that game healthy.
Oh, man, some of those hits he took today was bad.
Wicked shot on the sideline.
And then you saw the sticky coverage, which we're going to expect from Slay and Bradbury. Tight coverage. A couple grabs they got away with.
Yeah.
But, it was tight coverage. We knew it was going to be a solid defense play against. And I think that plays into the factor. Obviously, we got to give kudos to the Eagles for playing great. They look like a complete team, and we knew kind of that coming into this.
They did.
We talked them up a lot.
They're one of the few teams. There's a couple of teams in the league that I do not think have any weakness whatsoever, or if they have a weakness, it's very minute.
Mm-hmm. They're one of them.
This is one of them.
Absolutely.
It's scary to watch to play them.
It is glad
terrifying.
It's just one and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the same thing. Offense just looks. Even Romo said it on his commentary. He said, "Jim, you see them? They just throw it short. They're just happy with throwing it short. Like they don't." It's weird because we challenge teams. We throw it deep. Like, you saw the deep shots from Pickett a couple times today, but we don't complete them. And that's what sucks because, like, if you're just trying to jump ball every once in a while, like, yeah, I guess it gets them play at a little bit less aggressive, but you're not getting those completions.
It's completely different if there's completions. Mm-hmm. If we're all of a sudden, Josh Allen, Mahomes, things like that, to where it's like, okay, short, boom, 30-yard, 40-yard completion, and then it's like, short, boom, another deep ball. Then all of a sudden the defense is like, okay, we got to drop back an extra 8 yards.
Yeah.
And we don't do that, so they're like, okay, yeah, they might try it, and yeah, we get beat, but it's not like their quarterback's throwing it to the wide receiver inbounds or the wide receiver's catching it, even if it's a good play. So we're just going to keep playing tight and tell them, okay, you're going to have to keep beating us deep for us to actually care about it, and it just doesn't happen.
Right.
And so it just, again, we continue to be insane.
I'm with you, man. I was going to go rapid fire right through kind of position groups on offense, and you can maybe agree or disagree. You can just launch it at me. Pickett, I thought he played okay. Threw one pick that was tipped, had the fumble. It was kind of unfortunate. Otherwise, played good. Offensive line wasn't doing many favors.
Offensive line was not super great. Pickett was okay. Not great, not bad. I'd say average quarterback.
Okay.
Today.
Najee in the running game, even I'll say even Jaylen Warren too. Jaylen Warren. Najee,
Ugh.
He had 2 plays. The one that he caught and didn't run forward, just ran sideways on a 3rd and short. And everybody was saying, just run forward. You could have got it.
Yep.
And he didn't. He kept going side to side.
There was a snippet of it that I seen.
Yeah.
When he catches the ball, it was the closest defender was probably 6 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're trying to make too much. North and south, you're a big guy.
You're
it's
a big
hard.
dude. Yeah. I thought the same thing. Jalen Warren ran really well.
Yeah.
Quick.
6 carries, 50 yards.
He looked good.
And he led our team in rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, my whole thing was the Eagles struggle in the run, and they lost the rookie.
Yeah.
He got carted off the field, didn't come back in with a right leg injury. And it seemed to, Jordan Davis, and it seemed that they ran it a couple times. It was very successful. I seen Warren a couple of times. And then it's like, okay, we're down real far, so we're just going to stop. And it's like, well, no, at this point, just run, kill the clock, try to get something positive at it, and try to exploit their one weakness that I pointed out, where they're averaging over, they're allowing over 100 yards a game in rushing.
Yeah, we should have.
We just
I just saw I love Najee. I like Jalen Warren a lot too. I saw the difference. You brought in Najee, and you were getting 1, 2. He had a couple rip-offs.
I think he had the longest run of the year.
Yeah,
for
they
us
pointed
for 18
that out.
yards,
It was a good looking run and everything, but it just
and it was a north and south run.
Right.
No stutter step. No, I'm
get up
trying to
and
do
go.
too much. Just pound it through the hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he needs to do.
And then you throw Jalen Warren in, he was just finding the lanes, and most of the time he was finding those lanes and getting
He
some
looks
extra yards.
electric.
Looked good. Wide receivers.
I think Chase is our star.
Chase looked great on that, especially that one play he caught.
Might be the last time that we see him.
Caught a laser.
Tomorrow's trade deadline.
Could happen. I heard they were wanting a second though, or
Second
something like that.
at minimum. Although a lot of teams seem to agree that a second is well worth
It's
what
fair.
he could be. What his talent.
I think
and what
it's
his
fair.
Size
He's still
is.
he's still super
and he's
young.
proving that he can go back to form of his rookie year. But
Yeah.
other than that, Johnson, okay.
Yeah. I think where Johnson excels so much is, like, he can burn people, but he's a shifty dude. He's got the elite route running. Yeah, slants. Let him catch.
Slants in the middle of the
it's
field.
It's yards after catch for him, in
Yep.
my opinion. He's like that AB kind of, let the dude catch it and let him juke a guy out. Like, get him in space.
I agree, and that is why we put him in the slot so many times over the years, because when you put him in the slot, he's got all the field to work with, left side,
Left and
right side.
right.
Whenever we're running 80% of our plays out towards the lines, doesn't matter how deep or how straight or whatever, what's he got to do? Okay, I'm out here. I have I have less than a yard over here on the left side, and I got to cut back to all these defenders. I'm just going to step out of bounds. I mean, it's just absurd to me that we continue to do this.
Yeah, because then he's basically facing 2 defenders. He's got the corner in front of him and the sideline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's fighting against the sideline because he's got the defender and he can only go one way. Yeah, so that's kind of my knock on that. And then Pickens wasn't that involved. They tried him a couple times. Almost had a great catch on the sidelines, but had that his foot on someone else's foot.
Yes. Yeah. It was a great catch, but I think it was Bradbury kind of and I think he purposely stuck his foot there so he
didn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to tap it. And then they had he had the nice catch that wasn't challenged for a catch when Romo and Jim Nantz were like, challenge at Pittsburgh. What are you doing? Challenge. I think that was a catch, and then it came out. So that was a good catch too. I think that was on Bradbury, but
yep.
I really don't have any knock on the wide receivers. I just don't think we're utilizing them correctly.
I would agree.
Which is unfortunate. Even Freiermuth, too. He had a nice catch down the middle. Big play, I think it was on our opening
one
drive.
of the few that I've seen in the middle, and I'm like, strange, it worked.
Mm-hmm. So I thought they played good. Offensive line did not have a good day today, in my opinion.
Not had a great day. They were, it was a tall task anyway.
Very tall task.
They did not have a good day. They seemed to be the struggle. I would say them number 1, running game number 2, maybe tied with Pickett at number 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're the LVPs. They need to step up and do more. Stinking illegal shifts, holding,
oh my gosh,
false starts, whatever. And it wasn't just
illegal formation, the legal shit.
It was a core of 4. It was freaking left tackle. I can't. Dan Moore, because I cannot stand Dan Moore. I can't stand Chooks either. I think we overpaid for him. What it was, Kendrick Green absolutely just got obliterated by Hargrave. Or Dotson, sorry, yes. Got obliterated by Hargrave to allow the forced fumble, the sack fumble. It was our line played poor all game.
Yeah,
it was just one of those that you're sitting there watching. It's like, well, if Pickett doesn't get this out in less than 2 seconds,
he's probably gonna get smacked.
He will get smacked.
Well, yeah, and you saw him scrambling for his life a couple of times, and we knew it was a tall task for them to step up to. Everybody had to step up to the plate on this game because it's an undefeated team.
Right.
But geez, the line did not do us any favors in this matchup.
No.
So.
And the one other thing, Pickett, I know you can run. Learn to slide, or if you're that close to out of bounds, run out of bounds because you got absolutely walloped on a play. And
he's got heart. You can't take that away from him. He's got heart.
Yeah, when he got up from that, I was like, dude, I don't know how you got up because you got absolutely
the one where he stretched for the first down.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like kind of limping. I don't know if it was like something in the hip or.
And I mean, it was like a helmet straight to the ribs. I was really surprised like a rib wasn't cracked or fractured or something because I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's like you like to see it, but you don't like to see it at the same time. You like to see him giving that extra effort, but sometimes you're just like, we can live to see another play.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's finish up with our grades for offense in totality. What do you got for
I mean, there's nothing. We got 13 points, and it came in the first quarter, and then from the second quarter on, we got 6 points. I mean, that's just pathetic. I can't give them any more than an F+.
I was going to go D-, so that's fair. Yeah, 13 points, of course, is right on par for what we've been averaging. Weren't able to establish the run, which we talked about in our preview as the one area you could have maybe taken advantage of against this defense.
Yeah, that's where I think you could have stayed in this game, and that's a question that I wanted to ask you is what our offense, and I mean we'll talk about it in the other ones too, but offense specifically, what could we have done differently? And to me, it's run the ball more. Don't give up on the run so much, even when you're down, because at that point, I mean, the Eagles can score so quickly as we've seen today, and it's not just go in the red zone and score. They can score from deep, especially with how our defense is. Why not try to run the rock? Why not swap in Najee and Warren, or put them both out there and confuse their defense a little bit and just kill the clock? Because maybe we would have still lost, but maybe it would have been 21-13, and we would have been like, hey, we at least held their offense a little bit less.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we got away from the running game too. It stinks too. I want to add this as well, and then we'll move on to the defense here. But I think it's almost an unfair position for Kenny to be in. And the only reason I'm saying this, I'm not trying to defend him because he's a rookie, and that's where I'm going to give him the defense. But I'm not going to defend him by saying always giving him a pass on everything. But he's in a tough predicament because you've got a really bad OC. Really bad play calling, and then you're down. You're 38 pass attempts in this game, whatever 40-some the game before, 50-some the game. I mean, he's throwing the ball a ton,
and so like when you hear that, it's like okay, he only had 13 incompletions.
Yeah.
So you'd think, okay, 25 of 38, probably over 200 yards, right?
Yeah. I saw
wrong. 191
and no touchdowns.
So that just shows you had no time to throw, and it was all short passes, either behind the line of scrimmage or at or
check downs,
maybe 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Right, they were all short.
And that is not a Kenny problem. That is an offensive coordinator problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're asking him to throw it a lot. You're playing from behind most of the time.
Yep.
You just put your run pass. You're putting them. You're stacking everything against him, in my opinion. You're putting him in such a tough predicament. Throwing it all the time, playing from behind, poor play calling, poor scheme, whatever. It's just not. It's not going to be good going down the stretch either. I mean, I know we got a bye coming up, but it's not going to be good down the stretch either. So yeah, just a lot stacked against us in that aspect. Okay, switching over to defense here for us. What'd you think about the defense, and what'd you like? What didn't you like? Is there anything you liked? It's kind of hard. We got 35 points scored against us.
Yeah, nothing I could say that I really enjoyed. When we allow 35 points on us.
I was going to say, there's nothing that stood out to me, per se.
No, nothing good.
Right.
Other than maybe we got a pass rush. I think we sacked Jalen Hurts 3 times.
Wow, that's got to be
that's pretty
since
solid.
Week 1, that's got to be our...
Kenny got sacked 6 times, to put that in comparison. But we were actually getting a little bit of a pass rush, and this is why I am not sure I can understand the Bucs. The Bucs offense is horrendous.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we held the Dolphins to what we held them to last
16?
week. because, my Lord, the Dolphins went off again today. And so it kind of leads you to believe that the defense did good, but to me, I'm still sticking with Tua was just real off because we had the same personnel in.
Yeah.
And boy alive, I would say the Eagles do not have the speed that the Dolphins have.
No, they do not.
And the Eagles absolutely burned us over and over and over again. I mean, a statistic for the Eagles that came out going into the second half is the Eagles, picture this, the Eagles did not have a single red zone possession. You think, man, Steelers defense is playing pretty well, right? Or, wow, their offense is keeping the ball and not letting them get any sort of rhythm. Oh, no, it was that we were allowing large plays.
Then you see the points given up.
Yeah.
I think just quick comparison because you just brought it up. The Dolphins in this one, you look at the two differences, in my opinion, is, and no offense to Tua because I think he's a good player, but he was just off that game. It's the difference in a sharp passer, like a sharp shooting passer at this point. Because
making dimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you saw Tua multiple times that game throwing it off target just a little bit here and there, missing plays. Jalen was not missing those plays. No. He missed. How many passes did he miss?
He had 28 passes. He missed 9.
9 missed passes, but he had 4 touchdowns in those 19 completions. 4 touchdowns in that first half, just like you said.
Out of basically 1 out of every 5 passes, he was throwing a touchdown.
You bring up that first half though, and it's like they weren't in the red zone. Sweet, but they had how many points? 28, 21, whatever it was at that point. All 3 to AJ Brown, and all 3 were big plays and. Just in a perfect throws each and every time. And the first one, it was a bad play on the ball by Minka.
Right.
The other 2 were just right on that sideline on Witherspoon. Dimes.
And they ran the same exact play over and over and over again. And it was the perfect spot, perfect get. And it was one of those where it was like, man, this is a legit offense. And I mean, they played both. I mean, they played very well on both sides because now they minus sacks and that, but between Gardner Minshew and Jalen Hurts, they passed for 308 yards, and then there was, of course, the kneel down to end the game with Minshew. They rushed on 19 carries, 112 yards. I mean, they did whatever they wanted to on our defense, other than a few pass rushes, and really most of the sacks, 2 back-to-back, right before the half, I believe. It didn't matter what they did. They could throw it short. They could run it. They could, they could throw it deep.
They were doing whatever they wanted.
Whatever they wanted, and it really, really showed that, at least in my opinion, even when TJ comes back, what we thought was a strong defense, because we have TJ, we got Miles Jack, we have, Minka, which is somebody solid at all 3 levels, essentially, because, I mean, TJ does drop back, but more pass rusher, and even Cam Hayward. So there's 4 out of 11 guys, pretty solid. We have a big hole at DB.
Oh, I know.
A huge hole.
It's just weird to me to think back to, I know it seems like a forever eternity ago. Think back to that week 1 game where we had TJ.
Yep. 7
sacks or something stupid. How many turnovers? 4 or 5 picks. Stupid. A stupid showing by the defense.
Oh, yeah.
You're just is that what the defense could come back to with with the pressure? If you can get that pressure start building back up with TJ, maybe they start to, because that's what we've always said about the Steelers. You're never gonna have, well, unless we draft somebody. We don't have shutdown corners. We don't have those guys.
Never do.
Minka's your best defender in the back end. You don't have those guys that can just lock someone up on the outside. So you're just relying on your pressure to get there, and then the guys in the back make the plays necessary because the pressure's there. But without TJ, you're not getting anything then. You don't have lockdown, you don't have the pressure, so it just looks like crap. So I'll be interested to see, does he bring that, maybe he brings that spark, that energy again on that defensive front. I don't know. We'll see, but it's they looked rough, and nobody caught my eye today.
Akello did.
In the worst way. In a good way, I guess I should preface it that way.
Yeah, definitely not in a good way. I mean, to me, LVP on defense, it's Akello. Akello is such a hot and cold guy, and boy, is he cold right now. And it showed, because second half they made a change, and they put
James Pierre.
On AJ, and from
he looked fine.
AJ Brown did significantly less damage to us. Like, James Pierre went one-on-one with AJ Brown, and I thought it was a pretty good pass and a pretty good pass breakup.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe James Pierre is something, even though he's undrafted. But I think he's also streaky.
He's hot and cold.
Our DBs are so streaky that it's so frustrating. It's like, I know your ceiling, and your ceiling is up there with some really, really good corners. But, man, your downside is down there with, like, people that we don't have on the team anymore, like Artie Burns bad. And it is just frustrating to watch because then you get blown out like this, 35-13.
Yeah, hopefully we can shake the rust, shake the funk, get those guys out of it, get those back. Because Kello ended the season so well last year.
So well.
And then he started so hot. And
then injuries occurred with everybody, and it just kind of threw a loop. Hopefully we can get on a bye and come back and be a little bit, kind of get everybody heated up a little bit. But we always come out of a bye a little bad, too. So it makes me nervous. But
typically,
I know we need TJ. I'd like to see the score differential, but I don't think it would have been enough to win the game.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't think it would have been that much of a deciding factor. It would have helped, but no, yeah, I agree with you. I'm going D- with the defense. I'm going to stick with the same grade I give the offense.
I'll go F+ then.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, special teams. We can touch on this one just for a second.
Probably our most exciting facet of the game.
Jeez, yeah. Skiba?
He was okay. He kicked well. He could not do the kickoff.
Yeah, I was going to say he made his extra point. He made a couple field goals. The kickoff, though, brought him down. I was like,
no idea what he
that's
was
what you want to do. Give the offense that's been just
Yeah,
having no problem scoring on us right at the 40.
Us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop him up 40 yards.
And then Harvin had a 30-some yard punt at some point today. And I'm just like, okay, I think we've seen enough sample size from him.
Correct. 2 years.
Cut your ties.
At this point, you got to draft another one, which is horrible, or get somebody.
Just free agent, yeah. I do. One thing I will say, Steven Sims, he's our returner.
Oh yeah,
he is our returner. He looks good. He's shifty. Reminds me of the AB Randall kind of mixture.
It's sad that we're paying him probably next to nothing, and we have Gunner, who we paid almost $3 million a year to suck. I mean, if we're being honest, apparently the Patriots knew what was going on.
He looked so good in preseason too.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what flipped.
That Patriots game, man.
Yeah, that's.
He just had flashbacks. He's like, Belichick
And Kraft paid him off. I knew it. But yeah, that and probably the most exciting thing that I've ever seen from the Steelers in a long time is we faked a punt.
Yeah, that's true.
And we got it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was Derek Watt.
C- for me.
I'll go a C.
Okay, that's fair.
Just right in the middle.
That's fair.
It was. They overall did okay. They did better than most of our other team.
Yeah, I guess for signing the guy off the practice squad, Skiba, whatever it was.
Yeah, because it was kind of last minute. Yeah. It seems like that Boz got hurt.
Bring him in, have him do his thing. The only thing, like, short punt by Harvin, inconsistency from him, and then kick out of bounds by Skiba. I like the Sims returns, even though they weren't, like, super big, but I liked shiftiness, and then the fourth down conversion was nice. So.
Yep.
Okay, so to wrap it up, because I don't think we completely at least went over LVPs for offense at least.
O-line.
O-line for me, O-line for you. Okay, defense, who you going with? Okello? If you're going to go Okello, I'm actually going to go with Edmonds. Because, actually, I could go Edmonds or Minka on that play for AJ.
Yep.
I think they both played that really bad. Minka over-pursued it almost and tried to play the ball rather than like just playing the pass in a way, I guess what I mean by that. And then Edmonds sort of like gave up on that same exact play. And then that other big play to Pascal, they allowed him the touchdown to Pascal. Edmonds jumped on that screen when I thought it was his guy to go with. And and left Minka all back there by himself to make tackle and couldn't. Yeah, bad play.
Rough showing.
I think it was Edmonds, but and then I guess special teams. PH3 for me too. Yeah, because I think you've seen enough from him, in my opinion. I think you cut ties and grab a free agent next year.
There's got to be somebody out on the market that's better. I really regret not keeping Wainwright at this point. As for the Broncos, he looks pretty solid. It's one of those. It's just
Remember he covered for PH3, was it last year?
Yep.
And he looked good, and we were like, hopefully we can keep him this. Oh no, Carlos Waitman's off of the team, and you're like, what?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh no, we stick with our draft picks. We're stubborn as heck.
Doesn't even matter if you see the writing on the wall early on. They're like, no, we got X amount of years with him. We're gonna make sure that we have to pay him this amount of money, so we're gonna do it. And we could ramble on and on, but that's what gets frustrating with the Steelers is the offensive coordinator's bad. He's not going to be here for next season. But instead of changing now and maybe seeing if you got somebody internally that can make that change, or somebody that's sitting on the sidelines that might be able to be called in and done, it's like, no. We have to pay him this year, so why would we cut him?
Right.
If we're spending money on him, we're for sure keeping him here. And it's frustrating to see that because that's the Steelers' way. Well, guess what? The rest of the NFL is not doing the Steelers' way, and the rest of the NFL is doing pretty darn good because we're ranked 32nd. We're the worst team in the NFL. Worst. Like, the freaking Panthers can put up almost 40-some points, and they have an XFL quarterback in there. Like...
And that's the thing, too. You look at offense, and you can't say that we're naive enough to say, well, it's because we have a rookie quarterback, struggling O-line, this and that. And it's like, no, the quarterback looks fine. We know Kenny Pickett looks fine. Offensive line isn't great, but they're doable. Like, you can easily get by with them this year. It's the play calling. We backpedal so much. We put our defense in hard predicaments. We get down 14 in a blink of an eye, and you're just like, well, crap, now we got to throw this thing. And then Kenny throws it for 3 picks, and then – it's just a snowball effect.
Oh, yeah.
And, like you said, we're 32nd ranked team for scoring offense is just pitiful. You have got to make a change. We've got the bye week coming up next week. I don't know if they pull the plug on Canada.
I would actually be surprised but happy. But as you were telling me and as you showed me, I mean, Pickett kind of called him out. And it's not the first player to call him out this year. And so, like... Okay, we've seen enough sample size, but with Ben, with Pickett, with Mitch, even a small sample size with Mason, and Pickett has said, basically we're insane because we keep doing the same stuff, expecting different results, which we've been preaching, and it's like, well, either watches us or, funny enough, we think exactly like him.
KP, it's a fan of the show.
Yeah, because. It's true. Yeah. We do the same stuff. We don't make drastic changes because Canada says, we are very close to unleashing. Well, why can't we unleash or what's going on? Like, you've been in charge for a year and a half now at unleashing this, and you're telling me Ben was the problem when Ben didn't have problems before you.
Right.
And now you're saying, Mitch was the problem?
Well, and remember some of the games last year when Ben would just have to go no huddle and just start calling his own plays? Yep. That's when you saw the offense start to click and hum. And yeah, I don't know. I think writing's on the wall for Steelers. I think writing's on the wall for Steelers fans. I think everybody knows the elephant in the room is Canada. And it's sad that the Steelers probably won't do it because that's who they picked.
Right.
Internally, I guess. You know what I mean? Because they brought him in and then they promoted him to OC.
Yes.
It sucks, man.
Let's watch some college football to see who we're drafting.
Yeah, Steelers. Okay, so we won't have a video next week because of the bye week. We head into the bye at 2-6. We come out of the bye at home against the Saints. So it's a winnable game, but you never know.
It's a winnable game against Andy Dalton, but that team also just shut out the Raiders.
Right.
I think the Raiders' offense is more dynamic than we are.
Right. Hey, okay. You know what? Let's end this on some positivity, okay? We're gonna get T.J. Watt back.
We will.
That's
pretty much confirmed it that he is coming back.
He's gonna be back, so he should be healthy and back on our defense. Everybody should have another week of rest, another week of preparation for the Saints too.
Hopefully
so that helps.
Hopefully, we're getting Wallace back.
I know hopefully getting Wallace back. I know we're not great out of the bye, typically under Tomlin, but we're getting Watt back, man. He's basically our quarterback of our defense.
He really
is. He's basically the MVP of this team. He was MVP basically of the league.
If we come back and get Watt back and somehow we go like 6-3 in the second half of the year, Watt better darn well make NFL Defensive Player of the Year again, because when you go 1-5 without the man, and then you rattle off, if you were to rattle off however many, that is as close to an MVP as you're ever going to get as a defensive player, and you better get it back.
Talk about an impact player.
Yeah. And honestly, he has a chance to come back and still win the sack award, because I think Nick Bosa's leading the NFL with 8 sacks.
Yeah.
And Watt has 1 or 2. I think 1.
Nobody's running away with it right at this moment.
No, it's a weird year.
It's up in the air.
That'd be kind of exciting for Watt to come back, not
just
get
go
hurt,
crazy.
and just go nuts. Couple sacks a game or something like that, and punch up 17, 18 sacks again.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, and maybe something to maybe look forward to as Steelers fans is going into this game, starting this game with TJ back, is maybe you start to get that semblance of like what we had last year with TJ and the defense, what it looks like. And even if the offense is struggling, well, the defense can get that opponent's offense off of the field because they're getting the pressure. They're forcing incompletions, forcing turnovers, forcing strip sacks. Like, getting that back into the mix is huge. Take some of the pressure off Kenny and the offense there. So I don't know. Maybe there's a silver lining here. Maybe we can look for Watt to make a big impact and a big difference in some of these games for us. I don't know. I'm just looking for some positivity. I know it's a lot of negative to go around right now. As Steelers fans, it's pretty easy to be negative on this team and down on this team right now. And we do a pretty good job at that. So I wanted to add some positivity to it. So
certainly.
Okay. Well,
into a bye.
2-6 into the bye. Here we go.
We get to rest and relax too.
We sure limped right into that bye week, didn't we?
Woo!
All right. You got anything else, Brad?
I think that's it.
Okay, so thanks for everybody listening, watching. Make sure to keep us on Facebook and Twitter, because we like to tweet out some funny stuff and some updates on the game. Also, keep us on Facebook. We'll post the pick'ems and our, I guess not preview for next week, but we'll have a preview for the week after. So stay tuned for that. But as always, I'll still say it. Go Steelers.
Go Steelers.